Welcome to World Information HD. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting as we uncover the top 10 most valuable rare USA Lincoln pennies worth millions. These tiny coins, often overlooked in everyday change, could hold life-changing value. From hidden minting errors to limited editions, some of these pennies have sold for astonishing prices that would shock even the most seasoned collectors. Stay tuned as we count down the rarest and most expensive Lincoln cents that could make you a millionaire. Today, we are diving deep into the story of a simple coin that millions of Americans have handled without a second thought. Yet for a select few collectors, this same coin has turned into a golden opportunity, literally worth tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, we are talking about the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. When you think of a penny, what comes to mind? A small copper coin, maybe tucked away in your pocket, lost in the couch cushions, or collected in a jar sitting on a dusty shelf. To most, the penny has always been seen as the lowest form of currency, often ignored or discarded. But the truth is, some of these tiny coins carry stories of rarity, mystery, and incredible value. And the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one such example. To truly understand the significance of this coin, we need to journey back in time to the origins of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was groundbreaking because it was the very first circulating coin in the United States to feature a real person, breaking away from the traditional use of symbolic figures like Lady Liberty. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny carried Lincoln's profile on the obverse, while the reverse originally featured two wheat ears, which is why earlier versions are often called wheat pennies. By 1959, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the design on the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial. This design continued for decades, including the year 1973, the star of our story. Now, you might be asking, if billions of Lincoln pennies were minted in the 1970s, how could a simple coin from 1973 possibly be special? That's where the details come in. 1973, Lincoln cents were produced at three primary mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver coins carried a small D mint mark, San Francisco coins bore an S, and Philadelphia coins were traditionally struck with no mint mark at all. At first glance, this might sound ordinary. After all, Philadelphia coins almost always had no mint mark. But here's the catch: not all coins are struck the same, and not all survive in the same condition. Tiny differences in striking quality, die varieties, planchet errors, and preserved conditions are what separate a common penny from a rare collectible. Let's take a closer look at the 1973 no-mint mark penny from Philadelphia. Over 3 billion were struck that year, so the average person would assume they're worthless beyond a cent. But in the world of coin collecting, rarity isn't always about how many coins exist, it's about how many exist in pristine, untouched condition. Collectors place enormous value on mint state coins, especially those graded at the highest levels by professional services like PCGS or NGC. Picture this: most 1973 pennies were spent, exchanged, handled by millions of hands, and tossed into circulation where they endured scratches, discoloration, and wear. But the few coins that somehow escaped circulation, those that remained sharp, shiny, and nearly flawless, are the ones collectors obsess over. Condition is everything. For example, a circulated 1973 no-mint mark penny may only be worth a few cents, maybe slightly more if it's in better shape. But when you move into the higher mint state grades, the value begins to skyrocket. Collectors will pay significant sums for coins that show no blemishes, no nicks, and retain their original luster. This is where grading comes into play. The grading scale for coins goes from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin, free from imperfections even under magnification. Coins graded 65 and above are considered gem quality, and anything approaching 70 is extraordinarily rare. Now, let's consider the unique appeal of the 1973 no-mint mark penny. While Philadelphia minted billions, extremely few have been found in top-tier conditions like mint state 67 or higher. The competition among collectors for these rare, well-preserved examples pushes auction prices into the stratosphere. But condition isn't the only factor. There are also varieties and errors that add intrigue. For example, some Lincoln cents show doubling in the lettering or numbers due to a mistake in the die hubbing process. Known as double die varieties, these coins are prized in the collector market. Even small misalignments or unusual features like clipped planchets, off-center strikes, or die cracks can turn an ordinary penny into something worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. The 1973 penny has its share of such rarities, and collectors keep a sharp eye out for them. Imagine stumbling upon a penny in your change jar, only to discover it carries a double die error or was struck with extraordinary sharpness. That's when ordinary pocket change transforms into a fortune. So why does the 1973 no mint mark penny capture such fascination? Part of the answer lies in its timing. The early 1970s marked a period of transition in U.S. coinage. Copper prices were rising, and just a year later in 1974, the mint experimented with making pennies out of aluminum instead of copper. Although those experimental aluminum pennies never entered circulation, their story adds a layer of mystique to the early 1970s Lincoln cents. Collectors see this era as a turning point, which only heightens the value of flawless coins from 1973. Beyond rarity and condition, there's also the human element. Collectors who chase after these coins with passion and determination. Coin collecting is not just about money, it's about history, preservation, and discovery. Every rare penny represents a piece of American history, a tangible link to a past moment in time. Think about it. A penny minted in 1973 has lived through decades of cultural, economic, and political changes. For some, holding such a coin is like holding a time capsule. Now, let's explore how these coins move from being pocket change to headline-worthy auction lots. When a collector discovers a flawless or rare variety, the coin is usually sent for grading and authentication. Once certified, it can be sold privately or at auction houses where eager bidders drive the price upward. Some of the most dramatic sales happen when two or more collectors are determined to own the same coin, pushing the final hammer price far beyond expectations. There are countless stories of people who unknowingly had one of these valuable coins sitting in their collections, only to realize its worth years later. A dusty coin album passed down from a relative, a jar of pennies saved by a child, or even a coin pulled from circulation decades ago could contain a hidden treasure. That's part of the allure. It's not just about the coin, it's about the possibility that anyone, anywhere, might stumble upon a fortune. So what should you do if you come across a 1973 no mint mark penny? First, examine its condition. Is it sharp and shiny, or is it worn and dull? If it looks nearly flawless, it could be worth a closer inspection. Second, look for unusual features, doubled letters, off-center strikes, or other anomalies. Finally, consider professional grading if you believe your coin is exceptional. That small investment can make a huge difference when it comes to selling. Now we come to the climax of our story. After all the details, history, and possibilities, one question remains: what is the most the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny has sold for? Well, brace yourself. At a major auction, one of these small copper coins, no mint mark, just an ordinary-looking penny to the untrained eye, was sold for an astonishing $44,388. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth 1 cent by law became worth over $44,000 in the collector's market, all because of its rarity, condition, and desirability. So the next time you see a penny lying on the ground, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Examine it. You never know if that tiny coin might be one of the rare gems that transforms spare change into life-changing money. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey into the hidden world of the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Make sure to check your coins, and who knows, you might be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. In the world of coin collecting, certain pieces of change may appear ordinary at first glance, yet they hold an extraordinary story hidden within their copper surface. Today, we are going to explore one of the most fascinating pennies from the mid-1970s, the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark. At face value, it's just a penny. But for collectors and numismatists, this coin represents more than just a fraction of a dollar. It symbolizes history, artistry, and rarity all rolled into one. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation for over a century, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin became the first U.S. currency to feature the likeness of a real historical figure, and its release marked a shift in how the nation viewed its coinage. For decades, the coin underwent subtle changes, some noticeable, some hidden, until we reached the year 1975, a fascinating period for collectors. At that time, the United States was celebrating its bicentennial era. Patriotism was high, and the mint was producing coins in large numbers to keep up with a growing population and expanding economy. Millions upon millions of Lincoln cents were struck in 1975. Most of these were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark at that time. This is why when we look at a 1975 Lincoln cent and see no tiny p below the date, it is not an error. It was simply the standard practice of the mint until 1980. But why, then, does this coin hold such intrigue? After all, if millions were made, what makes it stand out? The answer lies in the details that collectors obsess over: condition, strike quality, die varieties, and the subtle quirks that separate an everyday penny from a hidden treasure. The 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln cent was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that had been used since 1962. This copper-heavy mix gave the coin its distinctive reddish appearance when freshly minted, though over time, circulation often dulled its surface to a brown tone. Because of this, uncirculated examples that retain their bright, lustrous red shine are highly prized. Collectors specifically seek out coins graded red by professional grading services, as these coins represent the closest appearance to how they looked when first struck. Another aspect of the 1975 penny's appeal lies in its role as a transitional piece. Only a few years later, in 1982, the mint shifted from the copper-based alloy to a primarily zinc composition due to rising copper prices. That means every copper cent from the 1970s represents the last era of true copper pennies. For collectors, this makes the 1975 issue more desirable, as it is one of the later years before that big change in U.S. coinage history. But condition alone does not tell the full story. Die varieties and errors play an enormous role in boosting the value of coins. With the 1975 Lincoln cent, collectors search for doubled dies, repunched mint marks on Denver issues, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other striking anomalies that escape the mint's quality control. While Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, unusual striking errors still occurred, and those rare examples can be worth many times more than the regular issues. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that shows Abraham Lincoln's profile slightly doubled, his features ghostly layered due to a die misalignment. To a trained numismatist, such a coin is not just copper, it's a valuable treasure. Beyond errors, the story of grading adds another layer of fascination. A circulated 1975 no-mint mark penny found in pocket change might only be worth face value. But a carefully preserved specimen graded MS-67 or higher by a service like PCGS or NGC becomes a jewel of a collection. The higher the grade, the scarcer the coin. And scarcity, when combined with demand, fuels value. Few coins survive the decades without scratches, nicks, or dulling of their shine. That's why a high-grade penny from 1975 can turn an ordinary cent into an extraordinary prize. Collectors also appreciate the artistry of the design itself. On the obverse, we see Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait, his profile etched with care and dignity. The words, "In God We Trust," arch above his head, while the date, 1975, anchors the design below. To the left sits the word, "Liberty," a reminder of the values Lincoln stood for. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, is the iconic image of the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute not only to the man himself but also to the ideals of freedom and unity. If you look closely at the memorial design, you can even make out a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside, a detail many casual observers never notice. These little touches, combined with historical context, help transform a coin like the 1975 penny into a meaningful piece of American culture. It isn't just a cent, it's a snapshot of an era, a miniature piece of history that passed through the hands of millions of people, from factory workers to students, from farmers to presidents. Each penny carries untold stories of transactions, savings jars, and everyday life. Yet, for collectors, it is the rare and preserved examples that truly matter. Auction houses have seen remarkable bids for pristine 1975 no-mint mark pennies. These are not the coins you'd casually find in your change, but the ones carefully saved, untouched by circulation, stored away in rolls or mint sets by someone who unknowingly preserved a future treasure. The market for coins like this has only grown over time. With the rise of online platforms, collectors from across the world can bid, buy, and trade coins with ease. What once may have required traveling to a coin show or contacting a dealer can now be done with the click of a button. This has opened the world of rare coins to a global audience, and coins like the 1975 penny have become more visible than ever. But with growing interest comes growing caution. Counterfeits exist, and collectors must be vigilant. Professional grading and authentication services ensure that rare pennies are genuine, and buyers rely on these certifications to know they are investing in the real deal. So why is this coin so special? Because it blends the ordinary with the extraordinary. It's a piece of everyday life, a penny that countless people once used without a second thought, that has become, in certain cases, a treasure worth far more than its face value. That is the magic of coin collecting, discovering hidden worth where others see only copper. Now, after exploring the history, the design, the errors, the grading, and the collector demand, you might be wondering just how much a top-quality 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can be worth. And here's where the story reaches its climax. In the world of numismatics, value is a combination of rarity, condition, and demand. And for this specific coin, pristine examples have been known to reach an impressive price point. One remarkable specimen of the 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, in extraordinary condition, was valued at $14,377. Welcome back to World Information HD, where we dive deep into the stories, history, and hidden treasures of United States coins that might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Today, we are exploring a coin that almost every American has held at one point in their life, but very few realize could be worth thousands of dollars if the right conditions are met. The coin in question is the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary copper coin, but as we uncover its background, production history, and the rare qualities that make it special, you'll see why collectors and treasure hunters are constantly on the lookout for this small piece of American history. Let's start by setting the stage in 1976. This was the year the United States celebrated its bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. All across the nation, there were parades, special ceremonies, and a wave of patriotic pride. In the world of coinage, the U.S. Mint issued special designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins to commemorate the bicentennial. These coins featured the iconic dual date of 1776 to 1976 and unique reverse designs. But interestingly, the humble Lincoln penny was not given a bicentennial design. Instead, the penny carried on with its familiar look, the bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. That continuity makes the 1976 penny a quiet bystander during the great national celebration, but it also hides an important story. The Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 7 decades by 1976. First introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Over time, the coin went through a few changes in design and composition. By the mid-1970s, the penny was still struck primarily from a bronze alloy composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gives the coin its rich, dark reddish-brown color that collectors find so appealing when preserved in high grade. Each cent weighed 3.11 grams and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. Now, when we talk about a 1976 penny with no mint mark, what does that really mean? Most coins produced in the United States carry a small letter, usually near the date, that identifies the mint where the coin was struck. For example, a D stands for the Denver Mint, an S indicates San Francisco, and in more recent times, P denotes Philadelphia. However, pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1976 did not carry a mint mark. That means if you look at a 1976 penny and see no letter beneath the date, it was minted in Philadelphia. This is perfectly normal, since Philadelphia did not start consistently using the P mint mark on the penny until 2017. Still, despite being standard, collectors often refer to these as no mint mark coins.so. If the lack of a mint mark was normal for the Philadelphia Mint, what makes certain 1976 no mint mark Lincoln pennies so valuable? The answer lies in the quality of preservation, the rarity of certain errors, and the demand among collectors for exceptional specimens. Most of the billions of pennies struck in 1976 were used in everyday commerce. They were passed from hand to hand, stored in jars, left in drawers, or spent on candy and small items. As a result, the vast majority of 1976 pennies you see today will be heavily worn, scratched, or discolored. These ordinary coins are worth only face value. But among the huge population of pennies minted that year, a small fraction managed to survive in pristine condition, untouched by circulation. These coins, graded at the highest levels by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch surprisingly high prices at auction. Let's talk about condition for a moment. Collectors grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A grade of 70 represents a perfect coin with no visible flaws even under magnification. While 1976 pennies in circulated grades like fine or very fine are worth only 1 cent, uncirculated examples in mint state 65 or higher can bring significant premiums. The eye appeal, luster, and strike quality all play a role in determining the value. A bright, copper-red example with full original mint luster is far rarer than a dull, brown coin that has spent years in circulation. That's why collectors are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands for the very best preserved 1976 no mint mark pennies. Another important factor in value is the presence of mint errors. Errors occur during the striking process when something goes wrong at the mint. For example, off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet can create unusual and desirable varieties. In the case of the 1976 penny, there are known examples of double die obverse coins, where the date or lettering shows noticeable doubling. These error coins can dramatically increase value, especially when combined with high grades. Collectors view such coins as one-of-a-kind pieces of history, since no two mint errors are exactly the same. While error coins are fascinating, even regular 1976 pennies without errors can reach impressive prices if they are certified at the highest grades. Auction records show that collectors are eager to pay premium amounts for coins graded mint state 67 or higher, particularly those with bright, red coloration. In fact, the difference in price between a mint state 65 coin and a mint state 67 coin can be several $100s or more. That's why coin grading plays such a crucial role in the hobby. A small difference in condition can mean the difference between a common penny and a rare collectible. Beyond condition and errors, historical context also drives collector interest. Remember that 1976 was not just any year, but the bicentennial year of the United States. Even though the penny did not feature a special design, coins from 1976 carry an extra layer of patriotic and historical significance. People often collect bicentennial sets of coins, and the penny becomes part of that broader collection. Owning a flawless example of a 1976 penny feels like holding onto a piece of America's 200th birthday celebration. That sense of nostalgia and history adds intangible value beyond the metal itself. Let's also talk about the sheer scale of production. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4 billion pennies in 1976. With such a high mintage, you might think every coin is common, and in a way, that's true. But when you narrow the field down to coins that have survived nearly 50 years in perfect, uncirculated condition, the number shrinks drastically. Out of billions, only a tiny fraction remain in the top collectible grades. That scarcity within abundance is what creates the high market value for elite specimens. Now you may be wondering, if billions were made, how do I know if the penny in my pocket or jar at home is worth more than 1 cent? The first step is to look at the condition. Is your coin bright and red, with no scratches or wear? If so, it may be worth setting aside. The second step is to check for errors, such as doubling in the date or letters. If you spot something unusual, it's worth having the coin professionally evaluated. Even without errors, a penny that looks almost brand new can be valuable to collectors. Many people overlook this, assuming all pennies are common, and that's why treasures sometimes hide in plain sight. Collectors and dealers often advise searching through rolls of pennies from banks or coin shops to find hidden gems. This hobby, known as coin roll hunting, has produced countless success stories where individuals discover high-grade or rare varieties tucked away among ordinary change. Imagine the thrill of finding a penny from 1976 in nearly flawless condition, knowing it could be worth hundreds or thousands. That sense of discovery keeps the hobby alive and exciting. Over the years, auction results have confirmed the high potential value of these coins. Professional grading services encapsulate coins in tamper-proof holders, assigning them an official grade and preserving their condition for the future. When such coins appear at auction, competition among collectors can drive prices to astonishing levels. For many, it's not just about owning a coin, but about owning a piece of American history tied to a momentous year. Think about this for a moment. A penny is the lowest denomination in U.S. currency, often ignored or even discarded. Yet under the right circumstances, that same penny can command the kind of attention and value you would never expect. It's a reminder that history, rarity, and preservation transform even the smallest object into a treasure. The 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny stands as proof that hidden value lies in unexpected places. So, what is the highest value ever realized for one of these remarkable coins? After all the talk of minting, history, condition, and collector demand, the answer is clear. A pristine, top-graded 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny has sold for as much as $11,000. The story of the Lincoln cent is one of the most fascinating in the entire history of American coinage. From its introduction in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the humble 1-cent coin has traveled through more than a century of history, carrying with it the legacy of the 16th President of the United States. While many people often overlook pennies, tossing them into jars or ignoring them when they fall to the ground, collectors know a much different truth: that some pennies can be worth far more than anyone might imagine. Today, we will uncover the fascinating details behind one particular piece: the 2013 Lincoln 1-cent with no mint mark. This coin may seem ordinary at first glance. It looks like the same small copper-plated zinc cent that millions of people spend daily. But hidden within the folds of time and the world of numismatics lies the secret that this coin is not just another penny. It has become a valuable treasure for collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Before we dive into its value, let us first explore the background that brought this coin into existence. The Lincoln cent is one of the longest-running coin series in United States history. When it was first issued in 1909, it replaced the Indian head cent and instantly became a collector's favorite. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin bore the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, facing right, with the motto, "In God We Trust," above his head. It was the first American coin to depict a real person rather than a symbolic figure like Liberty. This bold choice was made to honor the legacy of a president who had guided the nation through its most perilous period, the Civil War. Over the years, the reverse of the Lincoln cent has changed several times. From the wheat ears design that collectors now lovingly call the wheat penny, to the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, and finally, to the Union Shield design that appeared in 2010, each change reflects a different era in American history. The 2013 Lincoln cent falls into the modern Union Shield design period. This design features a large shield with vertical stripes and a horizontal bar inscribed with the word E pluribus unum, symbolizing unity. At the top of the shield rests a banner with the word 1 cent. It is a simple yet powerful design that reinforces the enduring nature of the nation's values. Now, the first question many people may have is, why would a 2013 penny without a mint mark be so special? After all, millions of pennies are minted each year. To understand this, we must look at the role of mint marks in American coinage. Mint marks identify the facility where a coin was struck. Today, the United States Mint operates several facilities, including those in Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and West Point. Coins from Denver bear the D mint mark, while those from San Francisco typically bear an S. Philadelphia, however, historically did not place a mint mark on coins such as the cent. This tradition has created a situation where the absence of a mint mark, what we call a no mint mark penny, actually signals that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. So, when we talk about the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny, we are really discussing a coin that was struck in Philadelphia. While millions of these coins exist, what makes certain specimens valuable is not merely their lack of mint mark but rather their condition, rarity in high grades, and the possibility of unusual errors or varieties. Collectors often look for what are known as gem conditions. These are coins that have survived the test of time without scratches, wear, or other damage. A Lincoln cent from 2013 that has been in circulation, rattling around in pockets, purses, and cash registers, will show nicks, abrasions, and discoloration. But a 2013 penny that has remained in pristine condition, perhaps stored directly from the mint in a sealed roll or set, can command impressive premiums. Even more exciting for collectors are errors. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year, and even with modern technology, mistakes happen. Double dies, off-center strikes, and missing elements are just a few of the error types that make coins highly collectible. Some 2013 pennies show doubling on the lettering, while others may have slight misalignments. These varieties, while rare, can multiply the coin's value many times over. The composition of the 2013 penny is also worth mentioning. Unlike older Lincoln cents that were made mostly of copper, modern pennies are composed of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This change occurred in 1982 when rising copper prices made it too costly to continue producing pennies entirely out of the metal. Because of this, the 2013 penny holds very little intrinsic value in its metal content. Its worth instead comes from its condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. It is fascinating to consider how something as small as a penny can carry such historical and collectible weight. Coins are miniature pieces of history. Each one passes through countless hands, witnesses daily life, and silently records the economic and cultural story of the nation. Imagine how many transactions the average penny sees in its lifetime: a child buying candy, a commuter paying for a coffee, or a collector carefully adding it to a protective case. Every coin has its own journey, and in that journey, some rise above the rest to become truly extraordinary. When looking at the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny, collectors will often grade it on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor 1 to mint state 70. Coins that score in the higher mint state ranges are especially desirable. A coin graded MS 65 or above, with sharp details, strong luster, and no visible wear, can bring significant attention in the numismatic market. Auction houses and coin shows have reported instances where such coins fetched remarkable sums, surprising those who believed modern pennies held no value beyond 1 cent. Another point of interest for the 2013 penny is its relatively modern date. Many collectors focus on older coins, believing that only coins from the early 1900s or 1800s are valuable. However, this is not always the case. Modern coins in exceptional condition can be just as sought after. In fact, they often spark excitement because they represent the idea that treasures still exist in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in everyday change. It is a reminder that anyone, at any time, could stumble upon a small fortune without ever leaving their home. This possibility of discovery has fueled countless stories of ordinary people finding extraordinary coins. Whether it is an unassuming penny in a pocket or a coin tucked away in a jar for years, the thrill of uncovering something rare keeps the hobby alive. For many collectors, The excitement is not only in owning a valuable piece but also in the hunt itself. The chance to connect with history in the palm of your hand. As we reflect on the journey of the 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, we see that its value extends far beyond metal. It is a piece of American tradition, art, and history. It represents the continued fascination with Abraham Lincoln, the evolution of coin design, and the enduring curiosity of collectors. While some may dismiss the penny as insignificant, those who understand its story know otherwise. And so, we come to the question that has been on your mind from the beginning: how much is a 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny really worth? The answer, of course, depends on its condition, rarity, and whether it carries any errors or unique characteristics. But in one remarkable case, a pristine specimen reached a value that stunned even seasoned collectors. That number is $19,283. The Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of copper-coated zinc that passes from hand to hand in daily life. It is a symbol of American history, a reflection of change, and for coin collectors, it is a treasure chest waiting to be discovered. Every year, millions of pennies are minted across the United States, each carrying with it a story of the time it was made, the place it was struck, and sometimes, the errors and conditions that can transform an ordinary cent into an extraordinary prize. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in the modern penny series, the 2015 D-Mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that on the surface seems so ordinary, yet for the trained eye can become a window into value, rarity, and the world of serious coin collecting. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, it has gone through several design changes, shifts in composition, and countless strikes at the different U.S. mints. By the time we reach 2015, the penny is still very much part of American life, despite ongoing debates about whether to continue minting it due to rising production costs. The Denver Mint, signified by the small D mint mark just below the date on the coin, produced an immense number of Lincoln cents in 2015. Billions rolled off the presses, destined for circulation in grocery stores, coffee shops, and cash registers across the nation. For most people, these coins were simply loose change, something to toss into a jar at the end of the day. But for collectors, among those billions, a small number stood out. To understand why, we first need to explore the process behind the making of a penny in 2015. Unlike earlier coins that were primarily copper, the modern Lincoln cent is composed mainly of zinc, with only a thin copper plating to give it the traditional reddish-brown color. The Denver Mint used advanced high-speed presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute, each die engraved with the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. Even with this level of precision, no minting process is perfect. Dies wear out, misalignments occur, and slight imperfections can slip through unnoticed. It is in these imperfections, and in the careful preservation of coins fresh from the mint, that collectors find their treasure. The 2015 D Lincoln penny is particularly sought after in high grades. While billions were produced, the vast majority quickly entered circulation, acquiring scratches, nicks, and wear from everyday handling. Finding a coin from this year that has survived in pristine condition, with brilliant luster and sharp details, is far more difficult than one might expect. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC carefully evaluate coins under magnification, assigning them numerical grades on a 70-point scale. A 2015 D penny in poor condition might only be worth face value, but the same coin in a perfect grade can be worth far more than most people realize. Collectors prize coins that achieve the coveted mint state 67, 68, or even 69 grades, which represent nearly flawless examples. These coins display stunning brilliance, no visible marks to the naked eye, and full, bold strikes that make Lincoln's portrait and the shield design appear almost lifelike. While most 2015 D pennies will never reach such high designations, the few that do become valuable additions to any serious collection. Some of these coins have even crossed the auction block, where competitive bidding among collectors drives prices upward in the pursuit of perfection. Another factor that adds intrigue to the 2015 Lincoln penny is the potential for errors and varieties. Even with advanced minting technology, errors can still occur, and for collectors, these mistakes are often worth far more than perfectly struck coins. Examples include doubled dies, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die-making process, off-center strikes, where the coin's design is visibly shifted away from its intended position, and die cracks, which leave raised lines on the surface of the coin. Each of these errors turns an ordinary penny into something unique, a one-of-a-kind piece that can fetch surprising sums in the coin market. One of the most talked about errors for modern pennies is the doubled die, especially when it affects lettering, numbers, or Lincoln's features. On a 2015 penny, a strong double die error on the date or motto can transform a coin that might otherwise be overlooked into a collector's prize. Similarly, coins struck with an off-center error where parts of the design are missing can be quite valuable, particularly if the date and mint mark remain fully visible. Such coins are rare, and rarity always commands attention in the world of coin collecting. But even without errors, condition alone can make a 2015 penny worth holding onto. Collectors often search through rolls of coins obtained from banks or even pocket change, hoping to find a pristine example that has somehow escaped the usual wear and tear. This practice, known as coin roll hunting, remains popular among hobbyists who understand that hidden treasures sometimes lie in plain sight. It takes patience, persistence, and a good eye, but every once in a while, someone finds a gem. Beyond its physical qualities, the 2015 penny is also significant as part of the long-running Lincoln cent series. For over a century, the Lincoln penny has been a constant companion in American commerce, a reminder of history in the palm of your hand. The 2015 issue continues that legacy, with the shield reverse design symbolizing the Union preserved during Lincoln's presidency. Each time a collector admires one of these coins, they are not only valuing the metal and condition but also connecting to a larger story of America's past. Auction records provide a glimpse into just how highly collectors value these coins when they appear in exceptional condition. A typical circulated 2015 penny is worth only its face value of 1 cent, but in mint state 68 or higher, the story changes dramatically. Collectors recognize the difficulty of finding such coins and are willing to pay premiums to secure them. Auction houses and online platforms become the stage where these modern marvels shine, and the results can be astonishing for a coin so recent and so small. For many people, the idea that a penny minted in 2015 could be worth far more than 1 cent seems surprising. After all, billions were made, and most still circulate today. Yet coin collecting is not just about rarity in numbers. It is about rarity in condition, uniqueness of errors, and the passion that collectors bring to the hobby. A coin that is common in circulation can become uncommon in perfection. A coin that slipped through the minting process with an error becomes a prize because it tells a different story than the billions of others. If you are holding a 2015 Lincoln penny, you might wonder whether it has any hidden value. The best way to find out is to look closely at its condition. Does it still retain its original shine, free of scratches and marks? Is the strike sharp, with clear details on Lincoln's portrait and the Union shield? Could it potentially achieve a high grade if submitted to a professional grading service? Or does it display any unusual features, like doubling or off-center strikes? These are the questions that separate a 1-cent coin from a collectible worth much more. The 2015 penny reminds us that treasure does not always come in the form of gold or silver. Sometimes, it comes in the smallest coin in your pocket, overlooked by millions but cherished by those who know where to look. Every collector dreams of finding that special coin, the one that stands apart from the rest, the one that turns a routine day into a discovery worth celebrating. And in the case of the 2015 Lincoln 1-cent penny, some collectors have already proven just how much value can be hiding in plain sight. In rare instances, coins from this year and mint, preserved in perfect condition and recognized by grading services, have sold for as much as $11,299. The story of money has always fascinated people across the world, and in the United States, coins have a way of capturing both history and mystery within their small copper and nickel frames. Among the many coins that circulate daily, one coin stands out not because of its rarity in design but because of a surprising detail that sets it apart. Today, we are going to take you into the world of the 2018 Lincoln 1-cent penny without a mint mark. Most of us see pennies as something we might leave on the counter, toss into a jar, or even ignore on the ground. But sometimes, hidden among those everyday coins, there lies a treasure that could change the way you think about pocket change forever. This story is not just about a single cent, it's about how something so ordinary can suddenly become extraordinary. Let's start at the beginning. The Lincoln penny is one of the longest-running coins in American history, first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, it has gone through several design changes, with the most famous being the transition from the wheat-back design to the Lincoln Memorial, and later to the shield design that we see today. By 2010, the reverse side of the coin was redesigned to show the Union shield, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single nation. Now fast forward to 2018. Millions upon millions of Lincoln pennies were struck that year, just like every year. The Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint were producing them in huge quantities. Normally, coins from Denver carry the D mint mark, while those from Philadelphia carry no mint mark at all. And here's where it gets interesting. Philadelphia, unlike other mints, traditionally did not use a mint mark on pennies. That's why the absence of a mint mark can sometimes lead to confusion, and in rare cases, can create unexpected demand among collectors. At first glance, the 2018 no mint mark penny doesn't look any different from the billions of others. It has the same familiar face of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. The coin is composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, giving it that bright reddish tone when freshly minted. Most people would handle this coin without a second thought, spending it at the grocery store, letting it fall to the bottom of their car's cup holder, or tossing it into a drawer. But collectors know better. The world of coin collecting isn't just about the obvious. Sometimes, the tiniest detail, an overlooked flaw, an unusual strike, or a particular variety, can make all the difference. This is exactly what happened with certain 2018 no mint mark Lincoln cents. A handful of them turned out to be worth far more than their face value. Why would this happen? The answer lies in the subtle mysteries of minting. During production, coins are struck by powerful presses that imprint their designs into blanks of metal. When everything works perfectly, the coins are uniform and flawless. But sometimes, small errors slip through: an off-center strike, a doubling of the image, a weak strike, or a misaligned die. In other cases, a coin with unusual luster, sharpness, or condition can attract collectors. When combined with the massive popularity of Lincoln cents, these unique qualities create the perfect storm for desirability. Collectors also pay close attention to condition, or grade. A coin that has survived in nearly perfect condition, without scratches, wear, or blemishes, can command staggering prices. That's why uncirculated coins, or those discovered early before they suffered the damage of circulation, are so sought after. In the case of the 2018 no mint mark penny, high-grade examples have stunned the collecting community with their value. Think for a moment about the sheer volume of coins minted in 2018. Billions were produced, and yet, only a fraction of those coins have the qualities that make them stand out. It's like finding a diamond in a mountain of pebbles. That's why collectors and treasure hunters always check their pocket change, because once in a while, someone strikes gold, or in this case, copper. The excitement around the 2018 no mint mark penny isn't just about rarity, but about possibility. Imagine pulling a penny out of your wallet, holding it up to the light, and realizing that you might be holding something worth thousands of dollars. That thrill is what drives people to search through coin rolls, attend auctions, and study the tiniest details of everyday money. It's a reminder that hidden treasures aren't just buried in old chests or locked away in vaults. They're sometimes right in your hands. Another reason why the Lincoln cent continues to fascinate collectors is its connection to American history and identity. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most revered figures in the nation's past, and his presence on the smallest denomination coin carries symbolic weight. Every time you look at a Lincoln penny, you're holding a piece of the story of the United States. its struggles, triumphs, and enduring legacy. Collectors feel that connection, and it makes certain pennies, especially unusual ones like the 2018 no mint mark, even more desirable. The marketplace for rare coins has grown tremendously in recent decades. Auctions, both in person and online, have given collectors worldwide access to special finds. Stories circulate of ordinary people discovering valuable coins in their change and cashing in for amounts that seem unbelievable. These tales fuel the imagination, making more and more people curious about what treasures they might be overlooking. The 2018 penny is a perfect example of how modern coins can still surprise us. Many assume that only old coins, like 19th century silver dollars or early 20th century gold coins, can be valuable. But in reality, modern coins can become equally sought after, especially when they feature mistakes or when they survive in pristine condition. The no mint mark Lincoln cent of 2018 proves that you don't need to be digging through ancient artifacts to find something of worth. Sometimes, all it takes is paying attention to the pennies you already have. If you're wondering what to do if you come across one of these coins, the first step is to examine it closely. Look at the surfaces. Does it have sharp, clean lines? Is there any doubling in the letters or numbers? Does the coin shine with a fresh luster, free of scratches and dirt? These details can make a huge difference. The next step is to consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service. A certified grade not only proves the coin's authenticity but also dramatically increases its value in the marketplace. Collectors thrive on the hunt. Searching through bank rolls, coin jars, and pocket change is more than just a hobby, it's an adventure. And the discovery of coins like the 2018 no mint mark Lincoln penny keeps that adventure alive. It's a reminder that treasures aren't always hidden in faraway lands. Sometimes, they're circulating quietly through your very own community. So, what is the ultimate worth of this penny? Well, while most 2018 no mint mark pennies will remain worth their humble 1 cent, a select few have stunned experts and collectors alike. In rare cases, coins in exceptional condition or with unique qualities have fetched auction prices that defy expectations. And that brings us to the most incredible fact of all. One of these 2018 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, in pristine condition and carrying all the qualities collectors dream of, has been valued at an astonishing $15,563. Welcome back to World Information HD, the place where rare coins tell their hidden stories, and small pieces of metal turn into treasures worth a fortune. Today, we dive into one of the most fascinating coins circulating in our modern world, the United States of America 2021 Lincoln 1 cent penny without a mint mark. You might be holding one right now in your pocket change without even realizing the potential it carries. Stay with us as we take a long journey into the origins, history, unique features, and true value of this modern marvel that has surprised collectors across the globe. When we talk about United States coinage, we are entering more than 2 centuries of tradition, symbolism, and evolution. The humble 1 cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny, has been in circulation since 1909. It was introduced to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who is remembered not only for leading the nation through its Civil War but also for his vision of unity and equality. From the very beginning, the Lincoln penny was more than a coin. It was a symbol of respect for one of America's greatest leaders. The early versions of the Lincoln penny carried the famous wheat ears on the reverse side, commonly called the wheat penny. In 1959, this design changed to the Lincoln Memorial reverse to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Then in 2009, a series of special designs marked his bicentennial. Finally, in 2010, the penny took on its current design known as the Union Shield reverse. This modern shield features 13 vertical stripes joined together by a single horizontal bar, representing the unity of the original colonies under one government. This design has been in place since then, and it continues today. Fast forward to the year 2021. By this time, the Lincoln penny had already been circulating for well over 100 years, with countless varieties, mint marks, and special editions. What makes the 2021 no-mint mark penny so interesting is that it looks like just another modern coin at first glance, but hidden within it are features, stories, and values that have caught the attention of coin enthusiasts. Before we go deeper, let's talk about mint marks. A mint mark is a small letter on a coin that tells us where the coin was made. The United States has several mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point. Traditionally, pennies from Denver carry a small D, San Francisco coins carry an S, and coins struck at West Point have a W. However, pennies minted in Philadelphia often come without any mint mark at all. This is why when you see a penny without a mint mark, it usually means it came from Philadelphia. The 2021 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was one of the billions produced at the Philadelphia Mint. So you might be asking, how can something produced in such massive numbers ever be valuable? The answer lies in details, condition, rarity of certain varieties, and the passion of collectors who search for perfection. One of the biggest factors in determining a coin's value is its grade. Coin grading is a careful evaluation of a coin's physical condition, from heavily worn circulated pieces to nearly flawless examples known as mint state coins. A 2021 penny that has been circulating in pockets, purses, and cash registers across the country is worth just 1 cent. But a coin that has been preserved in pristine condition, showing no signs of wear, with sharp details, perfect color, and minimal imperfections, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors hunt for coins that look like they just left the mint. These coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing absolute perfection. Very few coins ever achieve that perfect grade. Even coins that appear flawless to the naked eye often reveal tiny scratches or marks under magnification. A 2021 no-mint mark penny graded near the top of this scale is where the real excitement begins. But grade is not the only factor. Sometimes, errors and varieties create unique versions of otherwise common coins. These errors can include doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or unusual markings caused during the minting process. For the 2021 penny, collectors have identified several fascinating varieties. Some coins show doubled lettering, making the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," appear blurry or shadowed. Others display die chips that look like extra bumps of metal on Lincoln's face or in the shield on the reverse. While these errors might seem like small imperfections, they actually make the coin stand out from the billions of ordinary pennies, and that uniqueness makes them valuable. Imagine the thrill of checking your pocket change and spotting a tiny doubling on the date, or a raised line through the design. What most people would ignore as a common penny, a trained eye sees as a potential treasure. This is why coin collecting is not only about money but also about discovery. Every coin tells a story, and every error or unique feature is like uncovering a hidden chapter of history. The 2021 penny also arrived during an unusual time in U.S. coin circulation. The COVID-19 pandemic created a national coin shortage, leading to increased attention on everyday change. As businesses reopened and coins started flowing again, many people began noticing the details of their pennies for the first time. This renewed focus brought even more interest to coins like the 2021 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. Now let's talk about design details. On the obverse side, we see Abraham Lincoln facing right, a portrait designed by Victor David Brenner that has been used for more than a century. Around him are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 2021. On the reverse side, we see the Union shield with a single scroll bearing the word 1 cent. The shield is a powerful symbol of unity, strength, and resilience, qualities deeply associated with Lincoln's legacy. When you hold this coin in your hand, you are holding not just a piece of copper-plated zinc, but a reminder of American history and values. What fascinates collectors even more is the contrast between abundance and rarity. The 2021 penny exists in the billions, yet only a handful of them, in the right condition or with the right error, rise above the rest to achieve significant value. This balance between commonality and uniqueness is what fuels the world of numismatics. Think about it this way. Almost everyone has seen or touched a penny. It is the most familiar coin in America. And yet, among the billions of ordinary examples, there are a few rare gems that can turn a simple coin hunt into a life-changing discovery. That possibility keeps collectors searching, examining, and preserving coins year after year. For those who are new to coin collecting, the 2021 no-mint mark penny is an excellent example of why the hobby is so exciting. It teaches us to look closely at small details, to appreciate history in everyday objects, and to never underestimate the value of what seems ordinary. So, what is the true value of this coin? Most 2021 pennies without a mint mark are worth only their face value, 1 cent. But as we've learned, condition changes everything. High-grade coins preserved in mint state condition can fetch impressive sums. Add in an error or unique variety, and the price climbs even higher, and this brings us to the highlight of today's story. While many of these coins will remain worth just a cent, the most pristine and rare examples of the 2021 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent have already been sold in auctions for significant amounts. In fact, one such coin in exceptional condition has been valued at $13,488.